So I decided to check out when was the last time I made a video regarding this series, and I wouldn't necessarily believe that it's actually been 5 months since the last video that I uploaded on this series. Who knew time does go by that fast? But anyways, hey everyone, welcome back to another video. As you can see, we're back on the second account, which, not gonna lie, it's pretty refreshing to be back on here again. I haven't necessarily interacted with this account throughout the 5-month downtime, and mainly not really focusing on the events that were released throughout the time period, so I don't necessarily have like the thong rapport. As you can see with me holding the Pixel games, I don't necessarily have the Killer 2026. I mean, the only few times I started interacting with this account from here and there throughout the time period was mainly for currencies, but even then wasn't necessarily being as consistent. But I decided might as well continue on with this account and might as well start off with the start of this season. And I'm just hoping for the best that we get to just continue the series from here on out. So might as well say that without further ado, let's get into the matches. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit here, since most of the time with these videos I would mainly just like focus on the core modes, but I decided might as well queue up some raids, which does take a while when it comes to queuing up for a match. You know, it takes a while to just like queue up for squad and raids, but we finally managed to get one right now. Yeah, it's a pretty simple premise when it comes to this mode, mainly just being a PvE type of experience. I really remember how this mode came out back in 2019, which I feel like was a lot more of the better co-op experience when it comes with this mode. I'm just having, with this mode, we're just focusing much more on a PvE experience. I feel like there's something pretty interesting when it comes to it. And most of the time, like nowadays, they don't necessarily do like introduce like newer maps to this mode. And most of the time, most players will do is like queue up dead cities. They don't necessarily just like queue up magical valleys, generally with the requirement of needing magic modules, which will be a little bit more difficult to obtain as to opposed with like the Connecticut module. I think the first time when this mode came out, it was a lot more, I would say it would be unplayable for the first match, until once, if you can do successfully complete a raid. Then they would do is obviously would do is offer the module chest, which are sort of, not like the ones that we have currently, but more of the original state that they were, or the original version of the module chest, which did offer a lot more modules as opposed to what we have currently, or just only one type of module with a small amount of quantity of modules that you can get from it. And as you can see, we managed to just like clear through it pretty well. So it doesn't necessarily take that much time to do is like traverse. And I feel like with the tack knife, with it recently getting buffed, I feel like it's a lot more viable to have for mobility, as you can see. Which is pretty surprising for the tack knife. I didn't expect the tack knife to be able to do is get a mobility as well as an attack speed, but here we are. I feel like it'll be a lot more better to go for like an angle, sort of ricochet this. Yeah, I'm surprised we don't necessarily have like another map that goes with the energy module. Because the ones that we have currently is obviously with Dead City mainly focusing on Connecticut initially, and I mean like initially. And it seems that we're fighting the boss already. Well, and it seems that we're about to be finished with this mode already. So yeah, not much has been done here that often, but I would say it was pretty quick. Not really too fast, as none of us were using dash weapons, I assume, but we managed to complete it that fast, I would say. Next match we have being for a team fight, that being Space Pirates. Not necessarily one of my favorite modern maps of this game, but I would say not necessarily anything now to complain about. The resort plays similar to how the original Pirates map plays. It's not really going to be much of an issue with this weapon, as Pixel Games does do a lot more better, and practically the only weapon that I currently have that's going to be a lot more versatile. Yeah, it seems we're going pretty well with this match. It's gonna kill him right there. It's probably gonna kill him as well. I can get that one. Gotta be careful when it comes to the thermal part, which I did realize that I'm not wearing the gold division armor, which I don't even have it since the got the motor back down to silver division, so I can't necessarily have it until, well, until I join a clan that's in these gold division. I'm probably gonna be running the wooden division for now. Yeah, it does seem going pretty well, ending off on I might as well end it off on 67-54. Alright, there we go. And we haven't necessarily done that terrible in this match. I would say it's been pretty well. So I do like the low gravity from this map. Not necessarily one of my favorites still, nor the original version of Pirates, but I would say this is much more of a welcoming map to return. I guess we might as well finish off the video with the last match being on Classic Pool. I'm gonna go for the direct hits when it comes to this weapon. Or at least better contact damage with it. So far it's going pretty well. We're up by a decent lead. It does get quite annoying when it comes to going against armor power users. Mainly with the bleeding tick, that it's a lot more fast than most weapons that would have bleeding infliction. I feel like the best way to sort of balance that out, which I probably would suggest, is having the bleeding ticks be spaced out a little. I mean, you could possibly say to do is decrease the amount of damage that the bleeding ticks can do, but I feel like it should be a little bit more better. Or I feel like a better solution was to do space out the bleeding infliction. Not really a huge counter. I've been sweeping out this match. It's been going pretty well too. Would have gotten that last limb, but we managed to win it. 87-71, not too terrible. Another good party we put it on to like a 3v3. I would say it wasn't that chaotic, but you know, we still managed to make a win after it. Or I guess make a win out of it. And I guess that's gonna do for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm hoping for the best to just continue the series moving forward, as even if I try to get it completed now quickly, or probably pass a few months after Pixel 2 gets launched, I'm gonna just still do is complete it either way. So yeah, I'm hoping for the best and just continue it from now on. And anyways, that's gonna do for me. Have a good day, night, whenever you're watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next video.